Let's try an example where we need to join, group, and where all at once. Create a table with columns name and votes that contains one row for each of the 20 actors with the most votes in descending order. The number of votes for an actor is the number of votes from the ratings table of all the movies in which they were first in the credits. This requires a join because each row of the output, which is the name of an actor and the total number of votes for their movies, depends on data from the names table, which tells us the name of the actor, but also many rows from the principals table to find out which are the movies where that actor played the lead role. And finally, we need many rows of the rating table. For every movie that we discover here, we need to look up its rating in order to figure out how many votes they got. Let's work through it. Let's first take a look at the tables we're going to need. We need the ratings table. There are a couple of rows from there. We'll need the principals table. And we'll need the names table. And I think that's it. We don't need the titles table because we're not going to show the name of a movie. And we're not going to show the year that the movie was created. And it's already the case that the principals table connects an actor with the movie they were in. And since this will be a big query, let's write it over here in a text file. So we're going to select somebody's name, and then we need to select their total number of votes. So something as votes. This comes from a joined table. We need the names table, we need the principals table, and we need the ratings table. But we need to make sure that when we group these joined rows together, those rows are coherent. So we want one joined row that tells us the name of a particular actor, the role they played where they were ordering number one, and the number of votes that that movie received. For that reason, we need to make sure that the nconst value that appears in that row from the names table is the same as the nconst value for that row in the principals table. And we need to make sure that that row from the principals table matches up with a row from the ratings table, making sure that they have the same movie or tconst value. All right. Now we have joined rows that are internally consistent. They make sense. We don't want all those rows. We only want some of them. The ones where the actor was the first or lead actor, and we need to make sure they're actors, so that means we need to make sure that the category equals actor. I'm not interested in the directors. But I don't want a table that has a row for every different combination of an actor and a movie. I want to group. Now, how are we grouping? We want to find all of the rows with the same actor and group those together. And I'll do that by writing down name of the actor as the group by value. That means we'll have a different group for every actor name. And since we now have all the movies where that actor played the leading role, we can aggregate things like the votes that those movies received. So now's our chance to aggregate. We'll sum over the num votes column of the ratings table. Those are our votes. That's something we can order by. And if we do it in descending order and get the top 20 rows, then we got something interesting to work with. So now we run SQLite, initializing with this query that we just wrote and running it against the IMDb 1000 database. And it didn't work because I left out the letter N. And before I run this, let's make sure it looks nice. Go into column mode and see what we get. Leonardo DiCaprio had the lead roles in movies that summed up to the most movie votes. And then Tom Hanks, Christian Bale, and a bunch of other famous people. It is an indication of the gender imbalance in Hollywood that these are all men. If instead we were looking at those actors that were second in the credits, then we would get a different list, and there we see some women lead roles.